said it wasn't anything, just something that you felt. But feelings don't just disappear all by themselves. I try to find a moment where it all went wrong, but every memory feels the same, like it still belongs. You didn't give me answers, you didn't even try. You just slowly walked away without a goodbye. You let go without a reason, left me searching in the dark, trying to find a meaning in a breaking heart. And I keep going over every word we said. You let go without a reason, now I'm stuck instead. I remember how you held me like you wouldn't leave. Now I'm holding on to nothing, trying to believe that maybe there's an answer I just couldn't see. But silence doesn't tell you what it's supposed to mean. You didn't fight to keep it, you didn't even stay. You just let it fade to nothing and walked away. You let go without a reason, like it didn't matter much, like everything we built together wasn't really us. And I'm still trying to understand how it fell apart. You let go without a reason and took my heart. If there was something I could fix, you never let me know, and I would've stayed through anything if you didn't let go. But I can't hold on to silence or something you won't say, and I can't keep chasing answers that just fade away. You let go without a reason, but I'm learning to let go too, of every question left behind that leads me back to you. And I won't keep holding on to what you couldn't explain. You let go without a reason, but I won't stay the same. No reason, just gone. I kept thinking you were busy, just caught up in your days. Didn't notice I was slowly slipping out of place. I told myself it's nothing, just a phase we go through. But silence started saying what I didn't want to lose. I thought I was still part of everything we knew, but I was disappearing without a clue. I didn't know I was losing everything while I was still holding on, thinking we were just the same when everything was gone. And I kept waiting for a moment that would bring you back to me. I didn't know I was losing everything quietly. Your replies got shorter, your voice got far away, and I kept filling silence with things I didn't say. I thought it was just distance, that we'd come back around, but I was standing in a place where I wasn't found. I kept pretending nothing was really going wrong, but I was slowly fading all along. I didn't know I was losing everything till I looked around one night and realized I was standing when nothing felt right, and all the love I thought was there was already gone from view. I didn't know I was losing everything until I lost you. Maybe I should have seen it in the spaces in between, in the way I wasn't part of what we used to be. And I don't blame the ending or how it came to fall. I just wish I noticed I wasn't there at all. I didn't know I was losing everything, but I feel it now so clear. All the moments I was missing while pretending you were near. And I won't keep holding on to what was never meant to stay. I didn't know I was losing everything, but it's okay. I was losing without knowing. We stayed out longer than we should have, talking about nothing at all, laughing like we had forever before we learned how it falls. The streetlights looked so softer, like they knew we were still young. We didn't know what ending meant, we thought life had just begun. We didn't say goodbye, we just walked away, thinking tomorrow would feel the same as today. I didn't know that was our last night, the last time we'd feel that free, like nothing in the world could break us or take what we believed. And now it plays inside my mind like a song I can't let go. I didn't know that was our last night until it was over, I know. Everything felt infinite, like it couldn't disappear. We didn't know how quickly always turns to what's right here. Now I see it so clearly in the quiet of my room, how something so small and simple was already ending soon. We thought we had more time to figure it out, but innocence doesn't warn you before it runs out. I didn't know that was our last night, when we thought we'd meet again, like nothing in between us could ever come to end. And I still feel it in my memory, like it never let me go. I didn't know that was our last night. I didn't growing up is learning how things quietly fade, how the brightest little moments don't always get to stay. And I don't blame the ending or the way it came to be. I just wish I knew that moment was the last of me. I didn't know that was our last night, but I carry it inside like a photograph that never stops rewinding time. And I'll keep every second that I didn't let go. I didn't know that was our last night. Now I know that last night still glows. I found a picture of us smiling like nothing could go wrong. We looked like we had forever, like we knew where we belonged. There was a light inside your eyes that I don't recognize now, but I didn't see it fading. I don't know when, I don't know how. We were still holding hands while letting go inside, smiling for the moment while something slowly died. I didn't know we were falling apart while we were still holding on. Didn't see the cracks forming till everything was gone. And now I'm looking at the memories, trying to understand. I didn't know we were falling apart while we were still pretending we can. Every little moment feels different looking back, like the love we thought was growing was quietly off track. We kept saying we're okay, like it made it true, but sometimes love fades slowly before it breaks in two. I wish I saw the signs hidden in plain sight, but I was too busy believing we were still alright. I didn't know we were falling apart till the silence stayed too long, till your voice felt unfamiliar and everything felt wrong. Now I keep replaying fragments of what we used to be. I didn't know we were falling apart till it was too late to see. Maybe endings don't arrive with a clear goodbye. Maybe they're just moments we don't question why. And I don't blame the memories or the way they still remain. I just wish I knew the moment love started to change. I didn't know we were falling apart, but I see it clearly now. Not every love that feels forever knows how to stay somehow. And I won't keep rewriting what we couldn't say. I didn't know we were falling apart, but I know it now, too late. We were smiling while breaking. You still held my hand like always, said everything was fine. But something in your silence didn't feel like mine. I thought we were just drifting through another phase. Didn't know you were already pulling us away. I kept holding on to moments like they hadn't changed, but love was slowly leaving while I stayed the same. I didn't know you were letting me go while I was holding on tight. I was still fighting for us while you were saying goodbye, and every will be okay was something you did in me. I didn't know you were letting me go right in front of me. We were talking like before, but it felt rehearsed, like every word between us was quietly reversed. I kept trying to reach you through the space you made, but you were already somewhere I couldn't persuade. I thought love would stay steady if we just believed, but you were slowly letting go without telling me. I didn't know you were letting me go till I felt the empty space, till your voice stopped sounding like a familiar place, and I kept chasing something that was already gone. I didn't know you were letting me go all along. If I had known the moment you started to fade, would I have tried to stop it, or just watched it break? I was still holding on to everything we were, while you were slowly turning into someone unsure. I didn't know you were letting me go, but I see it clearly now. Not every love that feels so close knows how to stay somehow, and I won't keep holding on to what you couldn't keep. I didn't know you were letting me go. Now I'm letting you leave. You were letting go. I just didn't know. I kept showing up for nothing that was left to give, like love was just a habit we forgot to live. You stopped making effort, I stopped asking why. Somewhere in the middle we both said goodbye. I thought if I stayed longer you might come back around, but I was the only one still trying to hold it down. I stayed even when you stopped trying, like it didn't matter anymore. Held on to something dying behind a closing door, and I don't even feel it like I did before. I stayed even when you stopped trying, and I can't anymore. Conversations got shorter, but I kept them alive. like I was the only reason we were still surviving. You gave less and less till there was nothing left to take, and I kept pretending it wasn't a mistake. I thought if I could fix it, if I'd stayed the same, but I was the only one still playing the game. I stayed even when you stopped trying, when it already felt gone, like I could fix something that was too far along. And now I'm just existing where we used to be. I stayed even when you stopped trying, but not me. Not me. Whoa. Maybe I confused endurance with something like love. Maybe I held on longer than I was thinking of, and I don't feel angry or even really sad, just empty where the effort used to be bad. I stayed even when you stopped trying, but I'm learning to let go of every version of us that doesn't grow. And I won't keep standing in something gone cold. I stayed even when you stopped trying. Now I'm alone. I stayed, and then I didn't. I stayed. We used to talk for hours, now we barely speak. Every word between us feels incomplete. I kept watering something that wasn't alive, trying to keep a feeling that didn't survive. I told myself it's just a phase, something we'd outgrow, but deep inside I always knew it stopped a while ago. I stayed in a love that stopped growing, held on when it couldn't breathe, kept calling it something beautiful while it was breaking me. And I didn't want to see it, even when it showed. I stayed in a love that stopped growing a long time ago. Your silence said more than your words ever could, and I kept misunderstanding everything I should. We were standing together, but worlds apart, and I kept holding on to a fading heart. I thought time would fix it, give us something new, but time only showed me what we couldn't do. I stayed in a love that stopped growing, even when it turned cold. Tried to find warmth in the distance of something I couldn't hold, and I kept rewriting reasons to make it feel okay. I stayed in a love that stopped growing till it slipped away. just wish I listened sooner to what I couldn't see. I stayed in a love that stopped growing, but I'm letting go tonight of everything I held together that was never right. And I learned to start over, even if it's slow. I stayed in a love that stopped growing. Now I finally know it stopped growing. I just didn't go. We said it wasn't over, just a complicated time. Like love could wait forever if we just gave it time. But I could feel it changing in the way you looked away. Like something we once had was quietly fading day by day. I thought we'd find our way back if we just held on tight. But some things don't come back, no matter how you try. I stayed where love was fading away, holding on to what we used to say, trying to make forever out of something that couldn't stay. And I kept believing in a maybe that was never really there. I stayed where love was fading away while you disappeared. We stopped talking like before, not because we didn't care, but because every conversation felt like empty air. I saw it in the silence, growing in between, like we were still together, but not the same as we'd been. I thought love would survive us if we didn't let it break, but silence doesn't fix what silence helps create. I stayed where love was fading away, even when it didn't feel safe, holding on to pieces that were already away. And I kept calling it forever while it slipped through my hands. I stayed where love was fading away, and I finally understand. Maybe we were wrong, just wrong in time. Two hearts still beating, but out of line. And I don't blame the ending or how it came to be. I just wish we met each other when we could believe. I stayed where love was fading away, but I'm learning how to let it fade. Not every love is meant to stay, no matter how we pray. And I'll carry what we had without letting it break. I stayed where love was fading away. Now I'm okay. Fading away, but I'm still here. look at me like nothing's there, like I'm just passing by, while I'm holding on to moments you've already left behind. I try to read between the lines of everything you say, but silence speaks the loudest when you don't feel the same. I kept telling myself maybe you'd change your mind, but love doesn't grow when it's one side. I was still holding on to yesterday while you were already gone, holding on to something that I knew was wrong. And I kept believing there was more to say. I was still holding on to yesterday while you walked away. Every little memory feels heavier tonight, like I gave them all a meaning you never tried to find. I was building something real out of what we weren't, but loving you in silence was a lesson I had to learn. I thought if I stayed patient you might finally see, but you were never looking back at me. I was still holding on to yesterday, even when it hurt, trying to make it something more than what it was worth. And I kept chasing feelings that you gave away. I was still holding on to yesterday till it slipped away. Maybe love isn't meant to be forced to stay. Maybe some hearts don't meet no matter how you pray. And I don't blame your distance or the way you feel. I just wish I knew sooner what wasn't real. I was still holding on to yesterday, but I'm letting go tonight of every silent hope that kept me in this fight. And I'll find a way forward even through the pain. I was still holding on to yesterday, but I won't again. Yesterday is fading. You said we'd be okay, like it was something true, but every word you gave me felt harder to hold on to. I noticed all the changes, but I chose to stay, believing love could fix it if I just didn't walk away. I should have seen the distance in the way you looked at me, but I kept holding on to what I wanted it to be. I was still loving you through the pain, even when it didn't feel the same. Holding on to something that was already fading away. And I kept calling it forever while it was slipping through my hands. I was still loving you through the pain, when I should have understood then. I remember all the moments that didn't feel quite right, but I buried every question just to keep us alive. You were slowly leaving in ways I didn't face, and I kept standing still while you created space. I thought love meant staying no matter what it cost, but sometimes holding on too long is how you get lost. I was still loving you through the pain, trying to make it make sense, building something out of nothing, calling it commitment. And I kept ignoring everything that I couldn't explain. I was still loving you through the pain. Now I feel it all again. Maybe I didn't wanna know what I already felt, that I was the only one still being myself. And I don't blame you leaving or the way it all changed. I just wish I listened sooner to the quiet in the pain. I was still loving you through the pain, but I see it clearer now. Not every love that feels so deep knows how to work out, and I won't keep holding on to what I couldn't save. I was still loving you through the pain. Now I'm walking away. I should've known, but I stayed, still waiting, but not anymore. I kept the lights on longer than anyone would see, just hoping maybe someday you'd come back to me. The silence got so heavy, it started feeling real, like even time forgot the way I used to feel. I told myself, be patient, it's just a phase we're in. But I was slowly breaking from the shape I was in. I was still waiting for your love, even when it wasn't there, holding on to something that you stopped to care. And I kept believing silence would turn it into your name. I was still waiting for your love while nothing stayed the same. Days blend into each other like they don't know my name, and every little moment feels exactly the same. I don't know when it started or when it slipped away, but I've been waiting longer than I should have stayed. I thought if I stay quiet, you might hear me again, but silence doesn't answer what it doesn't understand. I was still waiting for your love, like it might return somehow, but I see was waiting with something like love. Maybe I held on too tightly to what wasn't enough. And I don't blame the distance or the way it fell apart. I just wish I knew the moment you left my heart. I was still waiting for your love, but I'm learning how to breathe without holding on to something that never belonged to me. And I won't keep waiting for what won't arrive. I was still waiting for your love, but I choose to survive. Still waiting, but not anymore. We counted every dollar like it was time itself, trying to hold tomorrow from slipping off the shelf. The nights were always colder than anything we knew, but we kept going forward because we had to. You said we'll make it better somehow, someday soon, but promises feel smaller when there's nothing to lose. You left me loving what was gone, like I couldn't let it be, holding on to memories that weren't meant for me. And I kept building futures out of what we had. You left me loving what was gone, and it hurt so bad. Walls still hold the silence of everything we tried, echoes of survival we never left behind. I see you in the corners of everything I do, like even in your absence I'm still with you. We thought love could be enough to carry us through, but love don't pay the price of what we go through. You left me loving what was gone, while I was still holding on to broken little pieces of where we came from. There's something left to say. You left me loving what was gone every day. Maybe survival means letting some things fade, even the ones you built with everything you gave. And I don't blame your leaving or the way it broke apart. I just learned how heavy love can be on a tired heart. You left me loving what was gone, but I'm learning how to breathe without holding on to everything that used to be. And I'll carry what we were without letting it break you. You said you'd call me later, but later never came. Just empty conversations and a fading name. I stare at my reflection like it might say your words, but all I hear is silence in a language I've never heard. Distance doesn't feel like miles, it feels like you're not here. Like every second without you turns into a fear. You left me with questions that echo in every quiet night. Like where did we go wrong without a reason why? And I keep waiting for answers that never come through. You left me with questions that echo, that lead me back to you. I save all your messages like they might bring you close, replaying every moment of what I miss the most. But time keeps moving forward while I stay in the past, holding on to something that I know won't last. I thought love could survive across every line, but distance changes everything, even time. You left me with questions that echo through every space between. Like how did we become a fading memory? And I keep calling your silence like it might reply. You left me with questions that echo, that never say goodbye. But I still feel you near me, even when you're gone. Like every unanswered question still holds on. You left me with questions that echo, but I'm learning how to breathe with all the things you never said, still living inside me. And I won't keep chasing answers that don't belong to you. You left me with questions that echo, but I'll make it through. Echo, echo, still you. We were standing in a moment that I thought would never end, like time was on our side, like we could just pretend. You were right there in my arms, like nothing could go wrong. But I didn't feel the distance that was there all along. I thought we had forever hidden in that night, didn't see it slipping out of sight. You left while I was still holding you, like I didn't feel you go, like love could stay the same even when it didn't show. And I keep replaying every second we went through. left while I was still holding you, and I never knew. Now the places feel different, like they don't remember us, and every quiet corner feels a little less like us. I try to go back to it, but time won't let me in. Some moments only live once, then never come again. I wish I could go back to the version of me who didn't know how close goodbye could be. You left while I was still holding you, and I didn't see the change. I was holding on to something that was already out of range, and I keep chasing echoes of a feeling I once knew. You left while I was still holding you. Now I'm holding on to you. Maybe growing up is learning that nothing really stays, that even in the moment we're already drifting away. And I don't blame the ending or the way it had to move. I just didn't know the last time would feel like something we'd lose. You left while I was still holding you, but I'm learning how to let go of every piece of yesterday that I can't relive or hold. And I'll keep the memory of what we used to be. You left while I was still holding you, but you're still part of me. Still holding what's already gone. You said I felt too deeply, like it was something wrong, like every word I gave you was somehow too strong. I tried to make it smaller, tried to pull it back, but love was never something I knew how to lack. I changed the way I spoke, the way I showed I cared, hoping if I needed less, you'd still be there. You made me feel like I was too much, like loving you was too intense, like every part of who I am was something I should second guess. And I kept shrinking pieces of everything I gave. You made me feel like I was too much, so I learned to fade. I stopped saying all the things that lived inside my heart, started holding back the truth just to keep us from falling apart. But silence isn't healing, it just hides the pain. And losing who I was for you wasn't love, just change. I thought if I was quieter, you'd finally stay, but I was disappearing more every day. You made me feel like I was too much when I was just like I was too much for loving you this right. Maybe I was never too much. Maybe you just couldn't hold all the love I tried to give, all the truth I told. And I don't blame my heart for feeling everything. I just wish I didn't change myself for what it couldn't bring. You made me feel like I was too much, but I'm learning how to see the loving heart was never wrong. It was just too much for you, not me. And I won't keep hiding everything I am. You made me feel like I was too much, but now I understand. I was never too much, just too real. Replaceable. I heard your name in conversations like it didn't mean a thing, like I was just a chapter you didn't need to bring. You stopped looking at me the way you used to do, and I kept pretending it was something I could lose. I felt it in the silence before I understood that I was already someone you were letting go for good. You made me feel replaceable so easily, like I was never that hard to leave, like everything we had wasn't real to me. And I keep breaking quietly when no one's around. You made me feel replaceable so easily, and I'm still figuring out how. I scroll through old messages like they belong to someone else, trying to find a version that I can't help myself. You moved on like it was nothing, like I was just a phase, but I stay stuck in every memory you gave. I thought I meant something more than just a part, but you rewrote my place inside your heart. You made me feel replaceable so easily, like I never really stayed, like I was just a moment you were done with anyway. And I keep questioning everything I thought I knew. You made me feel replaceable so easily, but I wasn't for you. Maybe I held on longer than I should have done. Maybe I was the only one still calling it love. And I don't need your answers or a reason why. I just needed to stop believing that I was that easy to deny. You made me feel replaceable so easily, but I'm learning to let go of the version of myself you didn't want to know. And I won't keep bleeding for what you left behind. You made me feel replaceable so easily, but I'm still mine. Replaceable. I felt alone, like I was talking to a shadow instead of someone I know. You stopped looking at me the way you used to do, and I kept blaming myself for what was changing in you. I felt the distance growing before I knew the truth. Love shouldn't feel this empty when I'm next to you. You made me miss you while you were there, like I was loving someone who wasn't there, holding your hand but losing your heart, falling apart while we weren't apart. And I kept trying to fix what you wouldn't share. You made me miss you while you were there. Now every memory feels unfair. You made me miss you while you were there. Your words felt automatic, like you didn't mean a thing, and every I love you sounded like a line you didn't bring. I started seeing pieces of someone I didn't know, and the truth I tried to ignore starting to show. You gave your attention to somewhere I couldn't see, and I was still believing in what we used to be. You made me miss you while you were there, like I was loving someone unaware, standing beside me but already gone, holding the night while you moved on. And I kept breaking inside in despair. You made me miss you while you were there. Now I'm left with a love that's not there. You made me miss you while you were there. While you were there. I wish you told me before I had to find that I was the only one, still trying this whole time. And I don't need the details or the truth you hide. I felt you leaving while you stood by my side. You made me miss you while you were there, but I won't stay in a love that's unfair. I won't keep holding on to what's gone, or pretend this is something it's not. And I'm done trying to make you care. You made me miss you while you were there. Now I'm choosing to leave you there. You made me miss you while you were there. You were right here, but never really there. You walked away so easy, like it didn't mean a thing, like everything we built together was just imagining. I stayed inside the moment, trying to make it real, but you were already gone before I got to feel. I gave you all I had, every piece of me, but love doesn't stay alive if it's one-sided, barely breathing. You took everything and left nothing, not even a reason why. just a heart still beating, and 1,000 silent nights. And I'm stuck in all the memories you don't even hold. You took everything and left nothing, just empty and cold. Now every room feels different, like it knows you're gone. And every quiet second feels longer than it should. I try to find the meaning in how it all went wrong, but some endings don't explain themselves, they just move on. I thought we had something that wouldn't break this way, but I was holding on to you while you slipped away. You took everything and left nothing, like it never mattered at all. Like love was just a moment you didn't want to call. And now left here with the pieces, I don't know how to hold you. Took everything and left nothing, just a story untold. Story untold. Maybe I gave too much, or maybe you gave too little. Maybe love doesn't survive when it meets the middle. And I don't know how to fix what's already gone. I just know I'm still here, trying to move on. You took everything and left nothing, but I'm learning how to stand with a heart that's still breaking in my empty hands. And I won't keep chasing what I couldn't save. You took everything and left nothing, but I'll be okay. You took it all and left me here. I should have said I'm sorry before it slipped away, but pride kept every word I needed to say. I thought we had more time to fix what was wrong, but I was too busy losing you while acting strong. Now every silence feels like something I destroyed, and every memory hurts more than it ever did before. You turned us into a memory too soon, and I don't know how to undo all the little ways I let everything fall through. And I keep blaming myself for what I couldn't save. You turned us into a memory too soon, and I'm the reason it fades. Replay every moment where I should have stayed, instead of letting distance take you away. I see it all so clearly, what I didn't see then, but clarity comes too late to change how things end. I thought love survive, even when it broke. But I was letting go without even knowing. You turned us into a memory too soon, while I was still holding on, trying to fix something that was already gone. And I keep carrying guilt like it belongs to me. You turned us into a memory too soon because of me. Because of me. If I could go back, I'd do it all again. But this time I'd listen instead of pretend. And I don't ask for forgiveness, I just wish you knew that I see every mistake now that led me to lose you. You turned us into a memory too soon, but I understand it now. Not every love survives the way it breaks down, and I won't rewrite the ending of what we became. You turned us into a memory too soon, and I carry the blame. A memory I made too soon. Something real still echoes here. We built it out of nothing, but it felt so real. Like every word we promised was something we could feel. We said we'd make it somewhere beyond what we knew, but dreams don't always follow the things we want them to. I held on to the vision like it was already done, but reality moves slower when you're the only one. You walked away from something real again, like it was easy to forget. All the nights we swore we'd make it, but never did. And I'm still standing in the echo of everything we planned. You walked away from something real again. I don't understand. I see it in the distance, the life we almost had, a future full of maybe that never turned to last. You left it in a moment I wasn't ready for, and now I'm chasing shadows of what we were before. I thought belief was enough to change what's real, but dreams don't bend for hearts that only feel. You walked away from something real again, left it unfinished in the air, like we were just a story you didn't wanna care. And I keep replaying everything we said we'd become. You walked away from something real again, but but I'm still holding fragments of a half-finished heart. You walked away from something real again, but I'm learning how to stay with everything we couldn't finish in a different way. And I'll carry what we started even if it's gone. You walked away from something real again, but I move on. Something real still echoes